Welcome along, everyone, to another track vote. It is not the Wheel of Doom or Misfortune or anything like that. It is you, the viewers, that will get to decide on what circuit you're going to be racing on in just a jiffy, then, which is absolutely superb stuff indeed. Then, for me, anyway, and the audience at home, but not for the drivers, because I'm sure that they're shaking, quaking in their boots. And as we're about to get ready to do a track vote of the free Grand Prix coming up, which is Japan, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia. So basically, it's like fastest finger first. If anyone watched Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I am your host, Chris Tarrant. Then I bet you that not many people know who Chris Tarrant is, which is a bit sad. It's Jeremy Clarkson now, isn't it? That does all that. It does all that stuff, doesn't he? And all that kind of jazz. Sadly, I never was able to beat the beat the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire game, which is very sad indeed. Let's go through the drivers and the constructors because the vote will begin at 25 past. So I got 3 minutes to get myself sorted. Then, of course, so we're going to just delay it ever so slightly because someone or some fans there used two YouTube accounts last night to double their capacity, which is shocking stuff indeed. I would have done the same personally. Flippy leads the championship, 37 points and 4 points in front of Brabant in second. And third position is Immortal. Sadly, I'm not sure if Immortal's with backwards tonight after the awful going on in Iran. Unfortunately, Vilashu is in fourth position. And of course, he's not on the championship in front of us because he's only just been shoehorned in then and replacing Lights, who has also left the server. Medi is in fifth position and who technically is in fourth then with Sweet on 16 points, Nameless on 14, 12 for Kieran, Equals on 4, 1 point for Peas, 1 point for Chaza then. I've got 2 minutes, so let's go for the Constructors Championship, shall we? Kick Sauber leads the championship there, 49 points sent in front of the Red Bull team. It's had a good start, but they've dropped back ever so slightly, 10 points adrift then. Aston Martin are in third on 37 points, and 20 points adrift is the Alpine in fourth. McLaren Mercedes on 16 points, and then only 1 point for the Williams and the Haas team. Racing Bulls have not scored yet, and nor has the Ferrari or the Mercedes-Benz, unfortunately, which is sad stuff indeed. Our friends are waiting. Come on, says Medi. Let's go then. I am pressured. I get peer pressured quite badly. The vote is up then. So it is Japan, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia. Get your votes in. I've just voted. I've actually guess which one I voted for. No, I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you in a minute. 72% for Saudi Arabia, 19% for Bahrain, and 19% for Japan. There, goodness gracious me, we're going to keep the vote open for about a minute or two then. And whilst that vote is going on, I'm going to go through the joint constructors as well because the joint constructors is looking very interesting indeed. Then it is Red Bull Racing at the top of the joint constructors on 118 points, I believe, and then it is Kick Sauber on 95 points, 2 points in front of the McLaren Mercedes, who are also 2 points in front of the Aston Martin Mercedes cars. Then we got Haas, the Haas Ferrari in fifth position on 58 points, 57 for Ferrari, no, 57 for Alpine, and then 55 for Ferrari. Goodness me, I need to get me old monoclock. Is it monocoque? Monologue, I don't know. Ferrari on 55, 37 points for the Mercedes team. Then we got Racing Bulls on 34. Remember, they were the joint constructors champions last year, I believe, and 26 for the Williams team as well. Then good stuff indeed. Then so that is the constructors, joint constructors. I've lost where my stream is. That's not good, is it? Right, where are we? So at about 54% then is for Saudi Arabia, 24% for Bahrain, and Japan on at 24%. 38 votes. Goodness gracious me there. How have you all got 38 votes then? That's incredible stuff indeed then. Hashtag bring back Immortal. Absolutely. Of course, Immortal was so close to win the championship last season, but unfortunately, of course, he did come up a bit short, didn't he? Incredible stuff. Hashtag bring back the Wheel of Doom, it says Jinner. I love the Wheel of Doom, then. Goodness gracious me. I have 30 odds ready, then, says Flippy. Hashtag start the vote, it says Percy. I am a little behind. Good luck, Gold, says Dolsey. Nameless for the win as well. Good stuff indeed. Keep him coming in. Agree, Immortal has missed them, but makes for a great comeback. Absolutely. And of course, so we are almost done and dusted. I cannot find how do I close the thingy? Far, have you done it, have you? How do I close it? I don't know, to be honest. 1 minute. I can't close it. Oh, it's all the way up there. End the poll. We've ended the poll. 41%. 41 votes then. And that is Saudi Arabia. It is 55% of the vote. With 24% Japan, 21% Bahrain. I gotta say, I voted for Saudi Arabia as well because I'm evil. MHD, Saudi baby, absolutely. Then, so good stuff indeed. And I've still got the championship up. That's shocking. I apologize. I can't do two things at once, you see. Anyway, but let's get this lobby on the go, shall we? Wet race says Farf. If Farf is about, it is gonna be a wet race, isn't it? Good stuff indeed. Then as Jenna with the Fernando Alonso wig there, it makes me melt. I love it. Good stuff indeed. Right then, so we are now getting ready to start the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. Me hosting anything is possible. To be honest, wherever Farf goes, rain follows. Then he certainly makes me quite wet indeed. Oh gosh, that's before the PG. Sorry, before the watershed. Shocking stuff indeed. Let me go through the comments as well. Goodness me, we've lost so many viewers. Like, we're down to 16 viewers. I am disgusted by you all. Shocking. I feel very used and abused. Of course, like the stream and all that kind of stuff as well, because I want to get to the 800 subscriber mark before the end of the year. I'm also trying to play about with Twitch as well, so we can do multi-stream. But sadly, I have to have this vertical thing on the go, which I'm also going to try and get a YouTube short live going as well, which would be quite cool because apparently it is doable. Jenner, good evening. Good evening to then. Cardell then say my first race in the league tonight. Good luck to you, Cardell. And of course, he'll be driving in the Visa Cash App there. What a team to be in. Good luck to you, my good sir. Good luck. All glad to be on track with the gold guys then in equal cars for a change then. I've been put in bronze, so I think I'm cooked tonight. Never. Don't worry about that, my good sir. Toronto, you'll do much better than me. I got kicked out of the car last night because the admins didn't want me in there. Shocking. Shocking stuff indeed. And good stuff then. We've got poll for MHD poll position. Even though I thought I'll be here early to see how the track vote works. Nameless for the win. I think I've read all that good stuff indeed. Same track vote for Wednesday, says Real Ashton. It's Real Ashton. Oh, sorry, I've smashed my mic into my face, which isn't good. And all that kind of stuff. Right. Let me get rid of the stream on that laptop and let me go to this laptop. Gosh, I feel like a wizard then. The Wizard of Oz. Well, it's not raining, so that's a good sign. Bad side is that Farf is host. Then it's always a bad side, isn't it, when Farf is hosted? But he's the hostess with the mostest, isn't he? We just take a look. So let's take a look at Saudi Arabia then. Of course, Saudi Arabia is round 3 tonight. This will be the 8th run of the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix, and for the first time. No, it isn't. I was gonna say for the first time in ALR history, Bahrain would not have had a run, but they didn't run in season 12. Saudi Arabia then is of course the 8th run tonight. Then of course last time we was here, Amultor has actually won the last 2 Grand Prix around here. Then so sadly Amultor's not on the grid there. It's absolutely it devastates me. And of course we also got Mad Max not racing here tonight either. So that is such a shame indeed. I apologise, I'm full of wind. I literally had a meal deal before coming on air. I was working late tonight and a meeting decided to go on from 5 o'clock till almost like 6:15. And so I must say I am very much been dashing here, there and everywhere. Right then. Let me get rid of all these notifications, shall we? And I got a YouTube. Apparently, ALR is live. Goodness me. Anyway, going through the winners then. Of course, Immortal won here last year and the year before. Gurman, of course, the former world champion from season 7, won here back in season 11. And season 10 was Total P. Season 9 was Milan. Season 8 was Troy. Season 7 was a gentleman called Blaze, and that was the first ever race around here in Saudi Arabia. And I've got to say, since then, we've always had Saudi Arabia on the calendar then, so it's been fast and frantic action around Saudi Arabia, and I'm expecting nothing less tonight then. Let me turn down the TV because that is far too loud then. It made me jump out of my pants. Jenna's the first driver on circuit, and of course, as we heard already, Jenna, a Grand Prix winner in Australia back in round 1 in silver. Then, so Jenna then getting a bit of practice in, so to speak, as the McLaren Mercedes. So McLaren are missing one of their regular drivers tonight. Then let me take a look. It is Equels. Equels is missing. That's shocking. It's very rare to see Equels missing. So I'm sorry, I'm naming and shaming there. We've also got Card Alf, then, as we're on board with Card Alf. I apologise profusely. Cardiff, that is not how you say your name. But I can't even say my name, so I apologize profusely. But here is the debutant here. It's like great to see as well. There, as yes, we did get pace for Card Alphen, who was a bronze pace then. But I must say that it's great to see making a debut. So, what a difficult time to make a debut there for the racing ball driver in Saudi Arabia. Goodness gracious me, this is probably one race that I'd rather not make my debut in. Kieran there coming out of turn 27. There's 27 turns around this course. Nope, he's not coming out of turn 27. He's coming out of turn 10 maybe. Van Vaught out on circuit as well. I'm looking for another McLaren. I'm looking for Jinner, who's about to start his lap then. So he's going to be the first driver on the board now then. As now we start this qualifying session here on Monday night, and I think this is the first time this season as well. We've got a full grid, fantastic stuff. Let's go on board with Jenner then as he flies through turn 2. Of course, this race, I think the most famous race around here was certainly the 2021 race, wasn't it? Where, of course, it was on the back end of the 2021 season before it was moved to the earlier stages of the calendar as well. And, of course, Saudi Arabia, as we fly through the very fast parts of the circuit. Of course, Mick Schumacher had a humongous smash there in 2022. In his Haas car. And talking of Haas, what a beautiful livery that they've unveiled today. That's absolutely spectacular, isn't it? For the Haas. I must admit, I do like the Toyota Gazoo Racing brand on there. Having said that, haven't Toyota just dropped the Gazoo Racing departmental name? Because they're now just called Toyota Racing, aren't they? Which is interesting. Brabham is in the wall. Oh no! And Brabham's in the wall then, and he's out of the very fast kink of 21 and 22. And that is a heartbreak for Brabham then. Of course, Brabham is second in the World Championship there, and who's of course 4 points away from Flippy at the moment. But that is a horror show. An absolute horror show then for Brabham then, and he could be at the back of the field. Oh dear then. My fault, says Farp. I'm wondering if Farp is blaming me for something. I've done nothing wrong, I swear. Card Alpha going at second pass on the 29.1 then, and that's a very respectable time there for Card Alpha. Of course, I think that reserve drivers don't get much preparation these days, especially when it is the when it's the track vote as well, which certainly throws in a curveball or three, doesn't it? Nameless coming out of turn 10 as well as Julian is gone at second fast at the moment. Whilst all this excitement has gone on, I apologise. I don't think I've introduced the new Ferrari driver there, which is Village there, of course, making a full-time appearance there for the first time this season, which is good stuff indeed. Wow, great wheel issues for Brabham, so technical issues for Brabham then, and Delanda going third fastest, but Brabham then, of course, there, similar to Lando Norris, remember, when he crashed out in Q3, but this is probably mission critical for the man who's second in the World Championship. Kieran coming into the pits, he was second yesterday in the Monaco Grand Prix, full race distance there, and that's not ideal either. Here comes Tori, who's scampered off the circuit there. Oh, and almost into the barrier there. That looks a bit unusual for the Red Bull driver. Tori super subbing in tonight as well. He's normally in silver. Lovely the Japanese livery there. Back on board with Peace at then. So Sweet has gone fastest by 3/10 of a second. Sweet has, remember, a promotion from silver to gold this season. No forced feedback or reaction at all, says Brabham. That is horrific. 29.6 then, half a second quicker than Sweet in second position there from the championship leader, Flippy. That's impressive stuff indeed. They're incredible. So for Brabham, technical wheel issues, and that is horrific stuff indeed there for Brabham, because of course no force feedback. That is that's basically driving with one hand tied behind your back, isn't it? And Virgin Peter, look at that thread in the eye of the needle there. Lovely stuff indeed. Of course, as I think we've got two reserves up in the racing bulls. We certainly have indeed, because Devo Croc also joined here tonight as well. Welcome back, Devo Croc. I'm a big fan of Devo Croc, I am, and I'm hoping he gets a full-time seat soon, because he is a talent in the making, isn't he? Is Devo Croc. He's probably already a talent as well. Turn it off and back on, says Jinner. Don't share that out too loud there, Jinner, because that's my basically 90% of my job. Just watching Peas coming to turn at 27 there. Hopefully Brabham can get himself sorted, because that is heartbreaking as well. As Village then has gone fastest. Remember, this is debut for the Ferrari. He's already drove 2 races in ALR Golf then, with a superb 5th position on his debut when he drove for the Aston Martin team back in Australia, with a 6th position in the Red Bull in China a week ago. And goodness me, and now he is fast as well. Now he's really going to throw, I think that's going to really rip off Flippy ever so slightly there, isn't it? Because, of course, Flippy there was half a second in front, and Village has gone quicker still. Marky now attacking those curves of turn 21 and 22. So we're on board with the Alpine machine now. Coming up into turn 27 there, of course, this is part of 3 DRS zones around the Saudi Arabia circuit, as Mehdi has gone faster still, and of course the teammate of Marky at 26.6 there. That's inhuman there from Mehdi, incredible. What about his teammate? What can Marky do here? That's not going to be pole position for this row 5 alongside Delano here. That is incredible times indeed there. Great to see Sweet Crown with his first race tonight then for Sweet Crown this season. Very good stuff indeed. That is Legende, or Legends, has gone fastest there in the beautiful Golf liveried Williams there, which I prefer that over the original Williams personally. I apologise to his teammate, who is Chazza, so shocking stuff. I apologise, Chazza. He's going to boo me out of the commentary box, isn't he? Sweet Crown's first race this season, and so good luck to first race as well to the former world champion, Lucas Purse there, of course, season 9 world champion. Was Percy there. Great to see Percy back in the car. Let's see what Lucas Percy could do there in the Ferrari as well. Then, of course, so Lucas Percy is starting off at 0 tonight and is invalidated. Unfortunately, going ever so slightly wide. Kieran's back out on circuit. Chazza not on circuit yet. Brabham out of qualifying, of course. So Mehdi is currently on pole position. Mehdi has been on pole position in Australia, of course. Was third or second in China, wasn't he, a week or so ago? But Mehdi once again showing some speed there. This for a second Ferrari of Village is into the pits now. As also comes into the pits is Pease. I don't think we're too we're not too strict on the old going over the pit lane white line around here. And of course, in real F1 there, of course, the stewards are very strict on that one. I don't think the admins are too much, but then again, I think Farf is probably fallen asleep in the bar, which is very dangerous indeed, and I suggest he shouldn't do that. Of course, that's quite dangerous to fall asleep in the bar. Here comes Kieran. In the McLaren. Thank you hello to Camera Racer, and thank you very much for the super chat, I think it's called, or the donation there. Hello, Jarvis, and good luck to Camera Racer there. Always very much spending his hard-earned cash there to give us a super chat, which is absolutely fantastic indeed. And also finances my new friend said, of course, which I'll be able to spend in Primark, or is it Primark? I do not know. Sadly, that's an absolute lie, because Knowlesy, Farford, Smithfield Mighty, and Kiki does not allow me anywhere near the funds for ALR, so which is very sad indeed. But then again, they know that I'll spend it on all kinds of rubbish there. Here comes Kieran out of the final turn then. So Kieran's got a bit of slipstream there from that Red Bull in front of us there. Of course, that's the Japanese liveried Red Bull there. Of course, from earlier on in 2024, Kieran goes 12th fastest there. And I think Kieran will be disappointed with that one in the McLaren stage, because he was on a high after Monaco yesterday. Then a great drive, by the way, from Vestier. Of course, his first Grand Prix win of his career in ALR. Very similar to Riley. Vestier and Riley are two outstanding talents this season. They really are indeed. Absolutely doing a mega job indeed. As Card Alphen, who's about 4/10 of a second up in the second intermediate time there. DRS, as we mentioned there, of course, so we're not concerned about that white line. Goes across the line, and 10th position there for the debutant. That is fantastic indeed. And goodness gracious me. And of course, Card Alphen was solid as a bit of a dummy, wasn't he? They were saying that potentially might be a bit behind the 8 ball. Absolutely not. Here comes Percy then, who hasn't said time just yet. Tori's out on circuit as well. 7 minutes to go in this qualifying session there. Kieran's down to 13th across the line, and Percy into 8th position, sharing the row with Jinner at the moment in the reserve McLaren car. Here comes Tori, who's used a lot of hers there, and that's going to really hurt him in the final stage of this qualifying lap there. So he's going to lose a lot of momentum and power there from the beautiful white liveried Red Bull from Japan 2024, I think it was. I'm sure it was, because that was Tsunoda's debut, wasn't it, in the Red Bull, when he was promoted after just 2 rounds. Tori goes to 11th fastest. Very good time indeed there for Tori. Oh, goodness me, I'm wondering if Tori was just desperate to get out of the way, and that kick Sauber almost would have caught him unaware then. Delano then on board in 14th position in the Mercedes car then. Delano has not finished the race so far, but then again, that's a very unfair comparison from Delano because he only started the Chinese Grand Prix, which was quite a brutal race to say the least, wasn't it? What about Sweet Crown? Sweet Crown is at the end of the first sector time. Chazza is just blasting past now and coming up to the second intermediate split time now. No, he's not. I've got lost on the circuit. Goodness gracious me. Oh, it's Brighton against Bournemouth tonight as well. Fantastic stuff. Right, let me get rid of all that. Let me get rid of all that as well. Right. I've got rid of all my notifications. I've got my slippers tonight as well, which is also fantastic stuff. Chazza then, who's now Fred in the Island Neil, and this is not going to help him in terms of having a clear track, but he does have a lovely slipstream now from his teammate here, and that is perfection there from Legende. Remember that Legend was absolutely, I think, instrumental, not taking anything away from the 4-time world champion Sam Swift Ninja. How could I? But of course, Legends really helped Sam Swift Ninja qualify quite high up the grid there in superb fashion there. Village is down in a... Oh, he's lost the nose cone there of the Ferrari, and Village has hit something hard. Sweet is up into third position now. And then Flippy is currently second faster. Then we got Nikat this end, but Village has hit the wall in the Ferrari, and it's going to have to come back in and get a nose job, unfortunately, there. And that's not ideal then. As you can see, look at Medi, and he has got still quite a lot of deployment. Compare that to Chaz, who only had 5-6% then. Going into the final turn then. Now on the loud pedal, not so loud pedal these days. Coming up to the grid, Hatchet's down, and what is it? It is pole position by another 3/10 of a second there. As Medi is aiming for his second pole position of the season there. What can Flippy do? Can Flippy do anything? His first sector time, well, it looks like I think he's coming in the pits lanes on this one there, but it looks like so. I think Flippy has abandoned this time then coming into the pits there. It's the Ferrari, and we got a bit of a car park in the Red Bull pit lane. Yellow flags is fluttering whilst hopefully we'll see the time on the time left in just a jiffy. Just watching Sweet Crown, who's managed to up to 6th position there. Sweet Crown is another driver I'd like to see get a full-time seat there. There's a driver who used to be called Wooter, as of course, and remember as well that he also got a Grand Prix win did Wooter when he was driving in the Alpine a number of seasons ago. Was it season 8? I think it was, wasn't it? So it's great to see Sweet Crown there back in ALR. So he comes to the pits as the second Ferrari of Percy, who is just outside the top 10 at the moment. Chazza is crawling back in the garage as well. What about Debo Croc then? Debo Croc is also abandoning his time then, and is also into the garage as well. Van Von has not set a representative time just yet, but let's go on board with Van Von. As just taking too much curb out of turn 2 there, to being a bit greedy in the Haas. But I'm wondering if Van Von has got more, a bit more fuel on that Haas car to see why he's got just under 4 minutes to go. Is that enough time to come back in the pits? So is the question on my mind then. Everyone is in the pits apart from the 2 Alpines, but the pole sitter is coming into the pit lane now. Markey is not too far away, and Van Von is invalidated his lap then, and let's see how much fuel he's got on board and if he can carry on. He's at the far reverse end of the circuit at the moment whilst we're in the pit lane looking at the pole sitter, which is Medi as well. And I think this will be Medi's fourth pole position of his career if he gets it tonight there, of course. And that will be 2 pole positions from this season. There's a Kick Sauber coming out of the pit lane, and that is Sweet then. So Sweet now out of the pit lane now, looking very strong, Sweet is. And it's the him and Brabbit then, we're looking at very strong contender, very strong partnership in the Kick Sauber. However, unfortunately for Kick Sauber, Brabbit is in the wall with technical dramas with his steering wheel, and I really hope that that steering wheel can be sorted out before the start of the race, which is just in it's just under about 5 minutes time, give or take then. So there's pressure on now for the Kick Sauber team and for Brabbit then. It feels like the Lewis Hamilton from China 2011 there, where 2011, goodness me, I think that's far in the future, isn't it? Of course, 2011 where the McLaren mechanics, wasn't it a leak or something in the engine there, and the engine was getting drowned, wasn't it, there, from oil or something like that, I believe, and the McLaren team had to fix it. Demo Croc has left the session. Oh no, that's not ideal. Camera Racer, where is Immortal? Says Camera Racer. Sadly, because of the of horrific events going on in Iran, then I don't know the ins and outs of it, to be honest, because let's just say that, well, I don't watch the news, to be honest, because, to be honest, a lot of stuff going around the world is pretty horrific stuff indeed. But, of course, the internet's been cut over and around then, which is full of, country full of protests at the moment. So we've unfortunately got no Mayran, and we've got no Immortal or no Mad Max at the moment. And of course, we wish them all, well, more importantly, we hope they're all safe, to be fair. To be fair, no, wish they're all, that we want them all to be safe, which is first and foremost. And then secondly, of course, we want them back in the car. But unfortunately for Immortal, this is the first time that Immortal's missed, well, more than one race in a row. They're very unusual for Immortal to miss a race there. But of course, let's hope that they're all safe. And of course, we all got our fingers crossed they are safe and sound. That's the most important part then. And hopefully they get their internet sorted as well, because hopefully, more importantly, are safe, but also as well, I'll be bored as well if I have no internet. Goodness gracious me, I wouldn't know what to do with myself, to be honest. My life is based on the internet. There you go then. Maybe I would might get a book to read or something like that. Coming back, invite please, and says Devo Croc then. Hopefully Farf is hanging on. And hanging on to my every word, which I doubt he is, to be honest. I'm sure that Farf is probably digging into his tea right now. I wonder what he's got for tea. But hopefully Farf can invite Devo Croc back into the session. Oh, is that straggling the curve there of Sweet Down? I don't think Devo Croc's going to have enough time now to get himself back into the car. So I think the Devo Croc's final run is unfortunately been hamstrung. 18 cars out on the circuit then. Of course, Brabbit is in the wall. Brabbit is out qualified. Sweet is Kick Sauber's last hope of getting a pole position here tonight then. Sweet, I don't think has ever had a pole position in his career of ALR Gold so far. But my goodness me, he is coming with a new renaissance in the Kick Sauber into turn 27 as well. Accelerates away and coming to the line. And look who's in front of us. We got a Haas car in front of us here. Punch in the air. Punch the hole in the air. No, it's not enough there. But Sweet has unfortunately lost a bit of time towards the end of that qualifying lap there. And Sweet is currently on the second row of the grid there. Yes, it absolutely is. Oh my, says Camarisa. Devo Croc is finished, and so is Delano. Delano's missed the timing line, unfortunately. That's unfortunate. As Chaza has gone into 10th position at the moment. We've got a Red Bull and McLaren there just to finish their laps as well. There's a Nikan Medi. Oh, he's scampered off the circuit and then just taking too much speed there for Medi. So now he's going to be a spectator like you and I. Jennifer qualifies into a superb P9 there. The second McLaren of Kieran, and Kieran's almost off the circuit there, but Kieran recovers to 7th position. That's a great recovery there from Kieran, because that looked like a heart in the mouth kind of a stuff there. Unfortunately, I'm trying to see who else out there at the moment. We got Julian on circuit in the McLaren, and Medi's out of qualifying. That's it for Medi. As now Village has gone second faster than the Ferrari there, so he's on the front row of the grid, and by 300ths of a second for the Ferrari driver. My goodness gracious me. Flippy's abandoned his time. He is done in this qualifying session. And was Sweet getting involved in that? I think that was the racing ball. Julian is third fastest in the end there. Sweet is finished out, and I'm wondering if that race would be going from that racing ball potentially. And look at Pease. He's trying to thread the eye of the needle here, and Pease is going to be furious with that there. As that is all getting a bit messy at the end of that qualifying run there, unfortunately. As also got Card Alpha also having issues as well. But it's Medi getting for his fourth pole position of his career in ALR then. And also that would be fantastic stuff indeed there for Medi as well. Can he get his first Grand Prix win tonight then? Of course, I would not bet against it, but it's always got a bit wrong for Medi in the last couple of races when he has been on pole position. But it's tonight the night there. Second pole position then of the season then for Medi as I quickly update me spreadsheets and all that kind of stuff. Good stuff. I am very much get it. I'm back in the swing of things, which is cool something. I haven't seen Devo Croc come back in, which I am a little worried by, to be honest. Have I got him as a friend then? To be honest, I don't think Devo Croc will want me as a friend. To be honest, let's have a look. No. How do I invite someone from here? Am I allowed to invite someone from here is my question. Right, let me see if I can right. Right. I'm sure I can. How do I invite to game? Yes. Yes, I'm getting good at that. Look at that. Anyway, back to the top of the time machines. Like 3/100 a second separates Vilash and Nick Candish there. Nick Candish getting his second pole position of his career. Superb stuff indeed. Then the Steers Russian sent me a message, did he? That's shocking stuff indeed. There. It was something about blowing my nose, was it? Disgraceful behaviour indeed. Then, of course, we're in the garage now, getting started for the race. Had my throttle input at 90. Worst circuit for that to happen there for Kieran. So Kieran has had to recover. Technical gremlins for both Kieran and Brabant then. Is that the nature of the circuit, or is that just unlucky? I do not know. Hello to Katie then. Great to have you along for the ride as well. Of course, Katie will be in action tomorrow after a superlative podium in the last Grand Prix in China, and hoping to build upon that as well. Remember that KD has now become the tyre tickler. I need to wet my whistle. 1 second. Oh, goodness gracious me. I've got a bottle of Coke here, which has literally just come out of the fridge. It's a bit too cold for me. Then it's I got to say, it's my heater on. I was going to say, because I had the gas man here today, and if he's turned my heater on, I'll turn it off. I will be fuming there with a capital F. I do not want that at all. Hopefully Debo Croc can get back in. I have sent him an invite, but it looks like at the moment that Debo Croc is nowhere to be seen then, which is a bit worrying, isn't it? Maybe he's had enough. I do not know, potentially. Maybe he's had enough of the stream. Good luck, Gold, says Sarah's Mushroom. Better late than never, Mushroom. Shocking stuff indeed. So medium tyres for the majority of the grid then. 25 laps around this circuit. We're probably going to have a soft, a medium to hard strategy there. From mediums to, softs to, nope. Oh. Excuse me. Pease has been disqualified from the qualifying lap there, so that's not ideal, is it? Hello, Mushroom. Better late, but okay. To be honest, it's absolutely shocking, to be honest, isn't it? Really, disgraceful stuff indeed. For Serious Mushroom, it's meant to be our modifier in the section. Is it modifier or is it? I don't know what it is it mods? They call them mods, don't they? Right, hard tyres for Kieran. Throttle input issue though. Marky on hard tyres and Lucas also on hard tyres as well. That sounds weird, calling Lucas. Percy on the hard tyres as well. Brabant. Technical issues with the steering wheel. Has he got that sorted? We're on board with Brabant, who is second in the World Championship there. Is this the steering wheel sorted? And it looks like he's just warming up these tyres at the moment there. But the man who's second in the World Championship there. This is, both the championship contenders need to keep up the momentum here. Especially with Mortal not here at this moment in time, which is out and out the quickest driver, I think, pound for pound of the grid this season there. But Brabant does not want technical gremlins at this early stage there. Now, I don't think Debo Croc is coming back in. Let's go through the grid. As goodness me, look at Mehdi. He's already at the start finish line. Good heavens above! I've got to get myself sorted then. Right then. Mehdi pole position. Who's what? I think he's completely missed the the grid box there. Oh, that's funny. Vilash second. Julian in third position, of course. Fourth position is Sweet with fifth. Fourth position is Flippy with Sweet in fifth position. Sweet, Crown in sixth position. They're all flying to the grid. Kieran's got issues. Or he's still got throttle issues, I think, Kieran has. He's holding up the rest of the grid. Pease is already on the grid then, chilling out there for the last minute and a half there, but his tyres will be stone cold, not Steve Austin. Marky in 9th position, 10th position is Nameless with Jinner in 11th, Chaz in 12th position. Chaz is starting to really get some momentum there. Percy in 3rd position, his first start of the season there, so he might be a bit rusty for the world champion, former world champion, I apologise. Tori in 14th position, Van Vaught all the way down in 15th, a horror show for Van Vaught. He's usually one of the quicker qualifiers. With Legende in 16th, or Legends in 16th, with Delano 18th. Carnal his debut in 18th position there. Teammate Debo Croc is not got a car at the moment next. I think he's got issues there. Look at how far back his Medi started at. We're waiting for the lights to come on then. And here they go. We got 3, we got 4, and there's a pause. And we are going Saudi Arabia then. And it's a decent start. That Ferrari is ghosting already then. Hopefully that's not a problem for Vilash there. But Medi's got a perfect stop. But the ghost has gone through him there. Vilash has gone through, he's scampered off the runoff area, and now he's lost all kinds of momentum. His men, he's already pulling away then. Look at the two Aston Martins there, all over the gearbox now of the Ferrari. And then what about Julian? He is in fourth position at the moment, it's Julian, but he's down a position there. There's problems there, there's problems, and who's out there? Someone facing backwards, and that's a damaged car. Marky's out of the race as well, it's a safety car, and it's a very, Marky's in the wall, out of the race there, and that is fear, that is going to be frustration for Marky. Oh dear, that is such a shame there for Marky, out of the race already, and also Nameless has lost half his car already. Marky is on the side of the road out of the Grand Prix, and I have a feeling that there is going to be a lot to be looked into on the opening of that lap, because because Vilas scampered off the road then. Good job he ghosted there, because he would have taken that Medi there. That is very unlucky indeed then. That is difficult indeed then. Goodness gracious me, and oh goodness gracious me. I wonder which ALR drivers are traitors, says Rio Ashton there. I'll come back, just taking forever to load. I hope you're back in soon then, Devo Croc, and hopefully Devo Croc then, this safety car is going to help him indeed. Marky has not said anything yet, so either he is absolutely livid, or he's probably just packed up and gone home then, which is going to be disappointing because both one Alpine's at the front, one Alpine's out of the race there, unfortunately. So just got good job he ghosted. They would have took him out then, says Pot Stuff Fed. What happened to Immortal, says KD. Unfortunately, the problems going on in Iran at the moment. Iran's had their internet cut off there because of could I say political unrest? Potentially. I must admit, I don't really know the ins and outs of it, to be fair, but that's because I'm an ignorant so-and-so, to be fair. I need to really catch up with, I need to really pay more attention to the world events set. But yes, more importantly, we want to make sure that Mayran, Immortal and Mad Max are all safe and sound. That's the most important thing, and the second most important thing is getting their internet back up, I would say, because I'm going to be honest, if I was either one of those three, I'll be bored out of me mind. Goodness gracious me. As Nameless has got a new nose cone, as has Delano as well then, so the safety car is out. And there's some sad news actually coming out of the world of F1 today, that the Aston Martin safety car is no longer going to be used next season, nor is the medical car. It's just going to be the Mercedes safety car for next season. So I don't know what you guys think about that. By the way, I read that off something on Facebook, so whether that's right or not remains to be seen. Of course, everything you read on Facebook has to be real. Yeah, so just watching Burt Mylander come out there. So let's take stock then. Tories on 5 position, a fantastic start. Brabbit 5 positions as well, good stuff. Kieran has gone down 1. So Brabbit then, let's see. To be honest, it's far too early to know if Brabbit's still got issues with force feedback. Will remains to be seen then. Also, it's far too early to see if Kieran had an issue as well, getting off the start line. But Philippi's down with the first position. Devo Croc is back in the session. Fantastic 17. I hope he can get hold of his car, and which be all fingers crossed and all that kind of stuff. Right. Just have a look then. Good luck golf then. Twice you turned away and missed my message on screen, says Serious Messenger. I sent one message about blowing my nose, so I'm hoping it was nothing more than blowing my nose. Otherwise, I might be in trouble then. I hope it wasn't anything blowing at all, to be honest. Took Dad for his pre-op then, says Serious Mushroom. So hopefully Serious Mushroom's dad is okay. Then of course we got everything crossed. What do they do in pre-op? Do they basically this is like I don't know what the real world's about then. You can ask me a lot about F1 and I would know random bits and bobs, but I don't know real life, so I'm very sorry. It's like a pre-op. So when's his operation then, Mushroom? Oh, you can. It's not if you've not been disqualified. Oh, so that's good then. So that was on about Devo Croc there, so Devo Croc can get back in his car then. The Aston is an ugly Ford Puma, so Serious Mushroom's happy that the safety car's gone then. To be honest, I am a bit sad, to be honest. Even I used to love a Ford Puma, actually, Mushroom there, so disgraceful stuff indeed. But also, I need to also say, get well soon to Scuba Stew, a former driver as well in bronze. Scuba Stew, of course, I know that Scuba Stew kind of eavesdrops, to be honest, there, but I know he probably also listens to the stream on mute as well, because I'm full of hot air and all that kind of stuff. Scooby Stew, of course, had a health scare and he's been in hospital for the past 2 weeks now. So hopefully we're getting you something like that, and hopefully Scooby Stew, you've enjoyed the opening stage of this one as well. They check weight, heart rate to see if he will survive because of his age then. Hopefully that's come back all well, to be honest. Scary stuff. I don't like. I mean, I don't like hospitals. I don't think anyone does like hospitals, but I certainly don't like hospitals. Oh dear, oh dear. The only thing I do like about my hospital is because the ham and cheese rolls are absolutely delightful. So hopefully your dad's got good food there at least then, and hopefully he can have his operation successfully and make a full recovery as well. So yeah, it's fingers crossed to Scuba Stew, who I think's out of the woods. So I think Scuba Stew's recovering quite nicely. Yeah, he is said to be beamed still, so I think he's okay. To be honest, that's how I communicate with half the people I know. I just send memes. And also, I hope this Serious Mushroom's dad's okay as well. That's the most important thing out of the stream tonight. And 1 second, I got a cough. That's the most important thing I'm going to be saying throughout the whole of the stream tonight. Then, so I wish both of those to get well. And also, this important message as well. Of course, I hope that everyone in Iran is okay, especially Immortal, Mayran, and Mad Max as well. So yes, we wish all of them. Hopefully, they'll come back sooner. But more importantly, I hope that they're safe, and I hope that they get some internet back at the very least. Then, and then of course, my third wish is I hope that they will then resume racing in ALR. We're back green here in Saudi Arabia then, and here we go. Then it's Mayran lead. Second position is Village then, and third position is Flippy with Julian in fourth. Fifth position is Sweet Crown. And say, Hannah, look there, is Birdman Lander is quicker than the F1 cars coming down that pit lane. Goodness gracious me. Thank you, Ginger, says Serious Mushroom. Don't worry, that is the nice thing I'm ever going to say to you, Serious Mushroom, so you got to make the most of it. To be honest, I think the Mushroom does miss me recently on the event league. I did try and race last night, but I got kicked out the car. I'm sure he misses me, or maybe he actually likes the peace and quiet. I do not know. Flippy, all over the gearbox of Village said, of course, Village is about 5/10 of a second back. DRS will be available at the end of this one. At the end of this stuff as well. So many leads at the moment. Village in second position, Flippy in third, Julian in fourth position, Sweet Crown have a great performance in fifth position. Sixth is Sweet with Peas in seventh, Kieran down in eighth. But remember, Kieran on the alternative strategy. Remember last night, Kieran then kind of snuck in there and almost stole the win there from Vestia. So keep an eye on Kieran as well. Tori, a superb performance in ninth, and Jenna also a superb performance in 10th as well. Percy on the alternative strategy as well to Kieran. So Percy could also be a very much a late charger as well. So keep an eye on those two, as well as the two hard shot runners at the back of Delano and Nameless. Then as we fly out to turn 22, as we come into the final stage of the sub, then there's going to be a DRS train. There is a huge backlog behind one of the McLarens of Kieran. I wonder if Kieran's had a mistake there, or is it the hard tires struggling to fire up that? Let's take a look here. Then there is Kieran, and then we got the Red Bull of Toy and Jenna beyond this one. And so I think that Kieran's trying to warm up those hard tires. Then as we're now in our first lap of racing. Then I miss you, Shaddy, can't lie. Then oh my goodness me, I've actually recorded that as well. So no, Serious Rush, can't take it back. Well, of course we're recording, we're live, aren't we? As P's up in the sixth position, down in seventh goes Sweet then with Kieran and eighth. Look at the Red Boys all over the gearbox. Tori's having a look. Then he's going to go on the outside, but Kieran slams the door shut there. Yellow flag. What's happened? And it's a yellow flag somewhere. Debo Croc, he's going to scamper off the circle. He's back on the Mercedes until I know it's through and passes Debo Croc there. Great racing there. On board with Bravo, then down. There's a car going slow. It's Kaz who's had an issue. Then yellow flag somewhere. There's I'm feeling that's just a broken yellow flag. Ignore that in the top corner because I've only just realised. Goodness gracious me. 3 seconds there is Kieran's beyond. Then there's I'm not sure if Kieran is just trying to fire up the hard tires. Percy's done a good job though, hasn't he? Because look at that, he's all over the gearbox and like a rash. There he is. He's a red rash as well. I think rashes are red, don't they? That's a glancing kiss with the barrier there from Percy, then, who has now got DRS. And oh, look at that! What a lovely shot here in the Corniche International Race Circuit. Legends is through. Brabant is through. Up the inside. Oh my goodness me! And on the curb, then straggling the curb there. If I tried to struggle the curb, I would have got stuck there because of my little legs. Knee Candice there is very much defended from Village. And who wants his first Grand Prix win of his career then? As he come out to the final corner, as Jenner's lost it out to Person. Person up to 10th position. Here comes Village, and he takes the lead of the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix on lap 6. Fantastic stuff indeed. And what about Tori? Yes, he's through as well. Passes Kieran. That's been a long time coming when Kieran is punching a hole in the air. And unfortunately, he has just punched a hole in the air, which makes it easier for his rivals there. Yellow flag then as a card outfit. Also, I keep saying a yellow flag. I don't think there is a yellow flag, is there? As card outfit is is fighting, and I think the name is going to go on the inside. That's a dangerous manoeuvre, and Cardell Fed hanging on his line. Goodness gracious me. It's all war in the Red Bull cars, and it's Kieran's losing out. I think Kieran's got the throttle issue still. There is technical gremlins on that McLaren, like there was throughout last season in the Silver Championship. It looks like that once again, McLaren can't get their reliability right, and Kieran is going to be furious there. He's going to have a word with Zach Brown, I think, now, because, of course, we've seen Kieran up the speed in the 100% Championship, the event league, and now Kieran has been hamstrung there by the McLaren team. So not a happy chappy there, Kieran is at the moment. Can he fix it? Remember, Bravitt also tried to come through the field as well after his technical dramas in qualifying. What was the three tracks voted on anyway? Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and Japan was the three races. Of course, we were doing the vote again tomorrow and on Wednesday as well. Out to the final turn then. So Mehdi is still in DRS range of Village at the moment there. Mehdi has not won a Grand Prix, but he has had full pole position now. As Flippy having a sniff there at the moment now. Flippy leading the World Championship, of course, over his championship rival, Bravitt. Marky's out of the race, sadly. And I think I haven't heard from Marky yet. It'd be interesting to hear what Marky's thoughts are. As Tori's now 5 seconds away from the top 7. The top 7 are sprinting away here in this race. I wish that yellow flag would go away because it keeps distracting me. Then we got Sweet Crown, then followed by Peace, followed by Sweet as well. Then we got Tori. Percy is now started to really fire up his tyres, and then here comes Percy. He's now the highest run on the hard tyres. Kieran is struggling. He is. I don't know what you can do to fix a throttle problem. You probably can't do a lot. I'm trying to get some air into my lungs. There is Kieran in the background. Jinner is also dropped off the back and is going to have to defend from Bravitt now. I don't know what you can do about a throttle problem. There's nothing you can do, is it? You, as we heard from, was it from Camera Racer about turn off and back on then? But I don't think you do. Oh, it's a Percy there having a snap of oversteer there. But I don't know what you can do there. So Kieran is going to be, well, you can see he's gaining on Percy again, but I'm not sure. It's the 90% throttle. So when you put the throttle full down, there's only 90% input there from the McLaren car, and Kieran there is just going to be feeling it, especially this part of the circuit. But he's got a lot of pace now, Kieran has he fixed it then? Has he done some magic then? Has he twiggled some knobs and has Kieran there to try and get that performance back? I do not know, as Bravitt is through in up until then, so Bravitt is coming through the field like a hot knife through butter. He wants that driver today. More importantly, he wants to reduce the arrears that he's losing out on from Flippy, who's currently in a second position, third position now. Through goes Percy. Can Kieran go through as well on Tori? No, he can't at the moment. Bravitt defends there from the McLaren of Jinner. And who's that? That's one of the Haascons of Van Bolt also trying to recover as well at this stage there. Turn the saturation up. How do I do that? Is that because the colours are dull, are they? Oh, Pete's got a 3-second penalty. I'm going to be honest there, the colours are probably dull then because my... Oh, who's that? That's Tori there. I'm using a bit of the track we haven't rented there. That's shocking stuff indeed there, Tori. And I think that's an extra £5. Just watching Chancellor, who's dropped down to 60 position. Chancellor had a really strong qualifier. Oh my goodness me! I'm nameless there, dived up the inside. I don't think that was an overtaking manoeuvre to start with, but it did end up with a position change nonetheless there. Nameless into 16th position. I'm going to be honest, I think Nameless was shocked about early Chancellor was braking there, and that did turn into an overtake maneuver. Incredible reactions there. That's why I'm not an F1 driver, because I would have gone straight to the back there. Throttle saturation, you noob. I don't know. Goodness gracious me. I'm going to be honest, I struggled to turn my controller on. On board with Flippy coming out of the final turn. And now Mehdi is back in the lead. Unbeknownst to me, whilst I've been having a verbal war with Sarah's Mushroom, Mehdi is back in the lead with Flippy in second position. Julian is in third position now, and 6 tenths of a second back is the second Aston Martin of Sweet, with Pease in sixth position and Sweet in 7th. I've missed it, but Kieran is through as well, as Tori is starting to drop down the order, and the two drivers on the hard tyres are now starting to make moves then. Kieran is still a bit hamstrung, I think, by the throttle issue. Serious Pressure has said turn up the saturation, which I think is what it is. Oh no! As Cardalf on his debut out of the Grand Prix, sadly. I think there's some technical gremlins going on in the reserve racing bull then, but out of the race goes Cardalf then. So that is such a shame then, but hopefully he enjoyed himself on his debut then, albeit only at 9 laps there. But I think the Cardalf is probably going to be more happier with with bronze potentially, isn't it? Because this is, I gotta say, this is quite frantic. There, it's not a war; it's a lover's tiff. I put in lover, by the way. And absolutely, it was a tiff. Of course, none of that kind of stuff in ALR. Goodness gracious me! Watching the back, watching at the front, the war. I mean, not love. We all love each other at ALR. I'm sure we do. Well, not everybody. I don't think Farah loves me. Well, I certainly love Farah. This is just watching Flippy coming up to third position now. Is Julian is now starting to be a right old thorn in the side of Flippy. Then, as you can see, Flippy is harvesting. Then, of course, the rain lights are flashing when you're going to harvest the energy in the in your Formula One machine. There, of course, there won't be much harvesting next year, will there? I'm going to be honest. I don't 100% know about all the engine stuff. I know it's a 50-50 split, and of course, I know that there's going to be something called overtake there, which of course is Sir Question mentioned there. Very innovative. It's very impressive. Into the pits comes Gina and car 8 then going off of the medium tyres on is the hard. Gina, oh, and that's an unsafe release if I ever seen one there. But I think that Knowles is going to have to take a good old long look at that one now. I'm wondering what Knowles is going to think about that then. So out of the pits now comes Van Von then, as that looked like a sluggish stop then as the Haas mechanics and scampering back into the garage now. Of course, Haas are now not sponsored by MoneyGram anymore. Their title sponsor is Toyota Gazoo Racing then. I thought they started MoneyGram not as a title sponsor, but still as a sponsor. But there we go. Of course, Haas did release their car, and it looks quite beautiful. Cadillac also releasing some pictures of their test mule car as well in Silverstone from last week. I must say that the Cadillac's side pods look very chunky compared to Haas, doesn't it? And of course, if it looks chunky to Haas, then maybe they're in a bit of trouble. But I do not know, to be honest. Having said that, I look a bit chunky compared to a lot of people as well. But I get on fine, unless there's narrow walls and all that kind of stuff. I'm not even going to say. I can't say the word now, Bushie, but I've got stage fright. Watching a Sweet Crown come out of turn 27. Is it? Crown's in the pits, and he is in the pits, and so now we're seeing some pit stoppers coming on that. So the question that I've got is whether or not then how powerful is the undercut around here? I would hazard the guess it is quite powerful. Stop says Mike said Sweet Crown reserve drive then, so the Aston Martin mechanics may have to do some tinkering. No, they don't. That's perfect there. Absolutely spot on. A great pit stop there for Sweet Crown as he comes out of the pit lane now. Debo Croc getting past as well. So Sweet Crown is going to have to get past. No, he's not there because there's the pit exit there. Cuts out turn 1 there. Toy's got a 3-second penalty. He's the second driver in the wall of shame, so to speak. Then out of the pits comes the Legende, as Chaza is also in the pits as well. So both Williamses are having to double stack there. So hopefully they didn't lose too much time there. So Mehdi has never won a Grand Prix, nor has Bilash either. This man here, Flippy, has now won 4 Grand Prix, I believe. I ain't got my stats up at the moment there as I kind of stood up, which isn't a very good thing, to be fair, because I'm going to get cramp in me right cheek if I ain't careful, because I always get cramp when I'm standing up. Maybe I need to go for walks more, potentially, but goodness me, going outside of real people. Ooh. Watching Flippy. Oh gosh, if I could, I'd make myself laugh, and I always cringe when I listen to the streams back and make myself laugh. It's horrific. But then again, I'm probably the biggest cringe, you know. But luckily, I'm also very much, I'm not down with the cool guys either, so a lot of the cringe that you would think is cringe, I wouldn't know about. Into the pits, into the pits, into the pits. Mehdi, Villish, and also Julian into the pits there simultaneously. Oh, Pease has hit the wall, and I think that thing glitched him out, and Pease just can't catch a break. Issues on the formation lap, issues in the pit lane, and I must say that Pease not going to be too impressed. I don't think he got damaged there, but that is lost him an abundant amount of time. He also lost momentum as well. There's Sweet out in front of him as well then, so that's not ideal, is it? Unfortunately there. So Mehdi has come out, and look at that then. Look at those queue of cars in front of us there. Sweet Crown has gone for the undercut and has actually successfully done it. So Sweet Crown is the de facto leader here, but look at the problem. This is it. It's traffic. Delano and Nameless both on the hard tyres and both going long. Both drivers are not pitted. Oh my goodness goodness me. And look at that Sweet Crown scampering off the circuit as the Mercedes of Delano is probably not too impressed by that. And look at this, they're going to go 3 wide here. Oh my goodness me. And the Ferrari goes up the inside of Villas. There is Sweet Crown having another sniff, and he's going up the inside. But the Ferrari has the position, and the second Mercedes is also fighting for position as well here. My goodness gracious me. And now then, Miss Medi is now the lead car. It has pitted then. Flippy, I'm wondering if Flippy might think about staying out here because he's going to come out in this traffic. As Medi is now up into 6th position. That's an easy overtake. Now Medi is, whoa, that Ferrari steaming in there because he can see his rival just disappearing off in front of us now. Then this is a very quick race. We've already half distance-ish, give or take. As into the pits has come Flippy. So Flippy, the championship leader in the pits there. And of course, I don't think he's going to get out in front of this gaggle of cars here. So Flippy there, I'm wondering if he's just losing track time then. Who's that is dived into the pits? It is one of, I think it is Brabant there, starting down the order because of technical gremlins out with the steering wheel. Villash is now into 4th position there. Sweet Crown up into 5th, but Nameless down to 6th. Julian didn't get past there. Unfortunately for Julian there. Flippy coming out and right at the back of this field then. So Julian does have 1 lap younger tires on the hard, tires, but the problem is now is that Flippy is going to have to now overtake all these cars then. And of course he's going to drop up. The pit lane is, the pit exit is shocking around Saudi Arabia. Do you think it's worse in one of the worst pit lanes I remember is the South Korea race, or the Korea Grand Prix? Is a Flippy on the outside there. I think they made modifications in 2013, but like it was in 2012 and 2011, it just fed out right in the heart of turn 1, didn't it? Which I thought was quite funny, to be honest. And it also made for some great action when you're racing on the game. How you get cramp in your face by standing up there? It's not my face that's the problem; it's the other cheek that I'm talking about there. How on earth did those 3 go? How on earth did those 3 get through? Get through that? That was incredible. It really was. I thought it was going to be an airplane crash, to be honest. So I was very much clenching. That's how it get me. That's how it get me cramp there. And here comes Flippy going on the outside, and through he goes then. So Flippy has a lap younger tires then. So the question that I've got now is, and which I know I ask a lot of questions on these streams, and I'm going to be honest, I don't really answer any of them, do I? But there you go. As Pease is now into 10th position. Who's that in the pits in front of us? I think that's Nameless. It might be Nameless in that white Red Bull that's coming in the pits now. Pease has passed Sweet then. Of course, Pease lost out after he had issues coming in the pit lane. Lost probably quite an abundant amount of time by having that issue there, unfortunately. As Julian is now on the back of Sweet Crown. Sweet Crown is out of DRS range of Villash, which could be crucial. But Villash is now all over the gearbox of Medi now. Both Medi and Villash are fighting for their first Grand Prix win of the season. Flippy has lost 2 positions by coming in a lap later. Where is Flippy? There he is in the background. Kieran is currently 7/10 of a second away from Percy, who leads the Grand Prix and is trying to extend the stint, but they're only 4 seconds up the road from these leaders here then, who of course have already pitted then. There's a lot of information coming out of my mouth at the moment there, but usually got to make the most of that, because normally there's a lot of hullabaloo coming out of my mouth. Goodness me. This is such a quick circuit, isn't it? To be honest, I'm glad that you voted for Saudi Arabia, because I can go to bed early. Fantastic. Percy leads them, but I think the Percy ain't going to lead for much longer, as Kieran and Percy are maybe hanging for a safety car here, or they're going to try and get to a reasonable window and pit for medium tyres in the race, which is more likely, I think. Now, safety cars around here, we've already had 1 safety car around this circuit, and of course safety cars are quite common around here, as of course it's a street circuit. Through goes Julian and up into 5th position there, as Pete has also passed Delano, who's of course staying out as well, similar to Percy and Kieran. As Kieran is going for the lead in this race, but he's not. But it's not enough for Medi. Third, 4th is Villash with Julian, who's just out of DRS range. Was Sweet and now Flippy are all over the back of Julian, but of course Julian did, of course, just overtake it's a Brabant now in 211 position. This is crucial because remember, in the past of ALR, we have seen drivers that not qualify, and of course the steam through the field. But now look at this then. In this Grand Prix, Brabant then, who had technical issues, crashed in qualifying, down in 11th position. There, we could be looking back at this race as a race that may be a decisive race in the outcome of the World Championship. Brabant down in 11th position. At the moment, he is not scoring points, but of course, with Percy, Kieran, and Delano all need to come to pits, that could get him back up into 8th position, but then those 3 drivers are going to be on much quicker medium tyre set. And I think that that's going to make Bravitt very nervously looking over his shoulder. Then Ginner is not too far away from him either. Then Van Von also down in 13th position, also struggling as well. We did not see what happened to Van Von actually in qualifying, did we? But also not on the best of qualifying either then for Van Von. Now here back at the front then, Percy on his return to ALR after a few races up then has returned with a Grand Prix lead that under his belt. And the world champion, of course, is Percy. He has a lot of Grand Prix. And look at Flippy, he's through past his sweet crown and into the pits comes the race leader and not the second. Oh, careful, Kieran's in the pits as well. As Medi takes the lead, that he's through and takes the lead, passes Kieran. Kieran stays on the outside here, and there's a contact there as Kieran on a different strategy. Medi just about squeezes his way through. That is crucial for the outcome of this Grand Prix here, and he is through that. Of course, Kieran is not going to make it easy for him. Of course, he's on a different strategy, and that may annoy some drivers out there, but of course they're racing, aren't they? So now look at this, and look at how much Village is loose in there underneath the gearbox of the McLaren driver. Of course, Kieran then, who is now going to be a bit of a doorstop, so to speak, a bit of the cork in the bottle, as these drivers are now behind him. Percy's on 11th position and is about a second away from Ginner. Bravitt is only 2 seconds down the road, and Bravitt is actually very. I think that no, he's not being caught. I thought he was being caught by Ginner there, but I was reading the wrong interval there. Shocking stuff indeed. Professional as always here on the box there. Watching Village, he's got to get past the McLaren before turn 21 and 2, and he does indeed. Then through he goes. Does he go wide? No, perfect stuff indeed. Struggles the curve there, not too much there. Of course, too much struggling will get you caught. Sure. Julian, and now Flippy. Look at Flippy there. He's also becoming in the facility as well. Wants a podium. Flippy does that. Through he goes. Kieran has to brake early, and Flippy goes up the inside there. Julian has helped Flippy. I don't think intentionally helped Flippy, but he helped Flippy. And Kieran there, of course, Kieran coming in the pits now. They're going on to the medium tyres. Kieran might be a factor later on, but that's a lot of time to make up in the final stage of this Grand Prix. Flippy is the quickest driver on circuit at the moment. There's Peas and Sweet in the background. Good stuff indeed. By the way, like the stream, share the stream and all that kind of stuff. And also subscribe as well. Of course, a cheap plug then, which is also fantastic stuff indeed. As Ginner is out of the race. What's happened? As Ginner, I'm wondering if something's gone wrong. Kieran's come in the pits and Ginner's come in the pits behind it. But I'm wondering if Ginner has had to park the car because of issues in the McLaren. But Ginner out of the race, sadly. As, of course, this is not Ginner's championship, though, is it? That's silver. And through on the outside, passes Tori, goes Kieran. Kieran there is going to be like a ball to a red flag now, isn't he? He's going to be flying, as is Percy as well. Kieran gets a 3-second penalty, so he's going to be frustrated by that, just going ever so out of track limits there. Kieran now into 11th position there, 4/10 of a second away from Van Von, who of course is elevating himself right to 10th position. Good stuff indeed there. Bravitt, who is the next target for Percy. I'm going to move away from that battle. I know I'm hearing boos in the comments. I apologise, but so we got to keep it on this battle at the front here. Medi leads. Second is Village with Julian in 3rd position. Flippy in 4th with Sweet Crown in 5th position. Here comes Kieran. Kieran is through and up into 10th position. We're just watching Flippy on circuit as Flippy has got some pace and he's got a lap younger tyres. Is that going to be crucial to the outcome of this Grand Prix? The top 5 have now very much broke away from the rest of the field. Then Pease has got penalties in 6th position. Sweet in 7th with Bravitt in 8th. And then Percy up to 9th. Flippy up the inside, locking up the inside tyre. He's going to go up and under that. Does he have more momentum than McLaren Mercedes driver? They contact, they're banging wheels, and he's gone on the outside of the turn 3, and the Mercedes driver, they're very much showing him his wheel, as he's not going to let Flippy through at that instance there. As Julian is not going to wave him through into there. Flippy there almost had a chance there. Goodness me, it was a bold manoeuvre there, but it didn't come off there. But he's lost a bit of momentum. Let's see if he can dust his overalls off and have another bite of the cherry. Medi still leads the way on lap 18.25. Then this is where he could see a game of cat and mouse, so to speak. Then remember Verstappen and Charles Leclerc in the 2022 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, where there was a bit of gamesmanship for the DRS there, wasn't it? Down up from turn 27 and into turn 1 there. We could see something like that for the outcome of this Grand Prix, and the final podium place as well. So anything is still up to play for in this one there. And currently none of the drivers have any penalties in the top 5. Julian's out of DRS. DRS. I think he just about got it back into DRS though, so he might be okay. No, he's not. And that is an opening which Flippy does not need a second invitation for. He is going to be very close to the back of Julian for that final podium spot. And Julian sliding out of turn 27. Here comes Village then. Village on this first race as a full-time driver, as a Ferrari driver. Ferrari going to be thanking their stars that they got their two regular runners in here tonight as well, because both drivers are showing exactly what the 2025 season 14 Ferrari can do in ALR, and it looks pretty spectacular at the moment from where I'm sitting. Many leads, but Village didn't get the lead there. Now what can Flippy do? Flippy is absolutely flying out there, isn't he? As Nameless has got past Legende and moved himself to 30 position. We're just watching Flippy, who is really making hay, and he has absolutely got the bit between his teeth as the championship leader. He is absolutely scorching out there. He's not in DRS range at the moment there, as he is just a tenth of a second away at the moment. So I think the front two have realised that if Flippy gets in DRS range, then it's going to be very difficult to shake him. Look at that, then. This is a game of inches now, isn't it? Look, Flippy is almost very much within touching distance. He's in DRS range. There he is. That is going to be difficult, I think, now for Flippy to be shaken away from the front two. Goodness gracious me. And that extra lap then, with that extra lap of younger tyres here for Flippy, the championship leader, could be exactly what the doctor ordered here tonight. Incredible. Sweet there is past Peas. He is Sweet once again showing that the Kicksauer got such a strong driver pairing with Brabbit and Sweet there. Sadly, Brabbit's had technical gremlins there, and now it is actually Sweet there flying the flag for the Dayglow Green Kicksauer. But through Peas goes and back up into 6th position. There's Brabbit recovering to his superb 8th position, but Brabbit has company in the form of the season 9 world champion, in the form of Lucas Percy, who is also on the fresher medium tires, and he is going to be a very difficult man to shake off. There they are. We got 5 cars fighting for the lead. Then we're going to have 4 cars fighting for 6th position now, and I don't think Peas in Street are going to be too happy to see Brabbit and Percy there, 2 multiple Grand Prix winners in this championship, as is Peas, of course. Peas an absolute, a very much an old school driver in ALR there, but I think that I don't think both drivers are going to be welcoming at that party, are they? So Flippy has dropped off the back ever so slightly. He's lost a couple of tenths somewhere. Has he made a mistake in the opening sector? Potentially, because Julian is now all over his gearbox here, as that Aston Martin in front of us harvesting there, as Julian now glances the barrier then. As long as he don't hit it any harder than that, then the suspension should be all fine and dandy. What isn't fine and dandy though is that Percy is now starting to catch up to Brabbit here, as Brabbit I think has just got DRS range, so we've got 2 battles to look out for here. This is going to get very interesting indeed in this final stage of this Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. Julian is quite close to the back of Flippy. He's gaining, but it's not enough then into the final turn. Sweet Crown is starting to drop off and ever so slightly, and he's just about staying in DRS range. But I think that Julian has an opportunity. Sweet has an opportunity. Does Percy as well? He's up the inside. Is Peas, and also we've also got Percy having to stiff on the inside of Brabbit as well. And here they come in. He's all over the gearbox of the Kicksauer, and through goes Peas. Is Brabbit going to get through as well? Is there going to be a bit of team play there between the Kicksaubers? I think there is a Brabbit up the inside. Brabbit is up the inside, and also Sweet is that Percy through as well there. I don't think that was Sweet's intention there, but he was kind of hung out to drive, whereas all 3 of them was charging by. Brabbit is now recovered up to 7th, it'll be a de facto 6th with Peas' 3-second penalty. The only problem for Brabbit is that there is a hard charging Percy all over the gearbox then. And look at Percy then, of course, absolutely loving life in this far. He's got a new leash of life as the former world champion, and he's all over the gearbox of Brabbit now into the back end of the circuit, into turn 13, and he's going on the outside. This is going to be incredible, but he is still on the outside. Oh, there's that contact there coming out of the exit of the turn there. My goodness gracious me. Absolutely incredible stuff. Flippy is almost drops Julian. Now there is Flippy. Went a bit wide there. He might have lost a bit of time. Absolutely, I'm talking absolute boulder dash there, because Flippy has actually gained time. Look at that now. Flippy is very much in the heart of the battle for the lead with 4 laps to go in this one. Oh my goodness gracious me. Absolutely Incredible stuff. Julian has dropped right off the back, and actually Sweet Crown is going to be a major factor. And now look at this, and is this the battle for sixth position? Nope, it is the battle for sixth. It's on the outside. He's done it, has he? Peace, contact. They've made contact out turn 25. And Peace and Bravitt have come together there. Bravitt cuts across, and Peace as he tries to defend there. As Peace there is going forward, moving, as is Percy as well. It's going to be free abreast down into turn 1. Peace is through. Percy's through. Sweet is off the circuit then. Bravitt stays in 8th position. Absolutely fantastic stuff indeed then. And somehow they have all survived the experience as well. Incredible stuff. I don't know where to look. We need multicam like they did in the old days of the Premier League. Incredible stuff indeed there. Pease smash. Didn't Pease lose a piece of his front wing, says Anthony. No, he shed weight then. I gotta say, you got better eyes than me, Anthony. I didn't even notice, to be honest. Goodness me. Then again, I've just had a ham and cheese sandwich now, and all I'm thinking about is more food. But why am I thinking about more food after I've eaten food? Well, because I'm a chunky man. Watching at Medi leading the race, but goodness me, it does feel like, is he on borrowed time for the Grand Prix lead? Potentially, but Village second, Flippy in third position. A great drive from Flippy once again. I mentioned last week the potential is one of his best drives of his career, but I might have to change that because he's been superlative today, hasn't he? Sweet Crown now all over the back of Julian. Julian has lost an abundance amount of time in this one. Breathe, Sean. Forget to breathe. On the outside goes Julian, and through and takes third position. Nope, takes 5th position, I should say. Back in this battle here then, and look at this, we've got 2 more laps to go in this one. Lap 23 out of 25. Bravitt, it's Peace, it's Percy, it's Bravitt, it's now Bravitt, Percy and Peace. Oh, it's Bravitt there. I think squirting on the exit there. Now Percy is having his 6th position there, and now we've also got Peace. Oh, it's side by side again. It's free abreast. Peace on the outside. Percy dives on the inside there. That's going to be a flat spot. Yes, you're right, Anthony. There's damage on Peace's front nose, front wing there. There's a McLaren in the background as well of Kieran Giss. Is incredible racing. More contact there. Cuts across. Debris come off the Haas once again. Bravitt is now in 10th position. What's happened? As Percy's off the circuit, Percy's had an issue. I wonder if that minute contact has caused a puncture to the Ferrari. There's debris off of the Ferrari at the very least. I'm not sure if he's got a puncture actually. Oh gosh, as Kieran is, it looks like he's full throttle there, isn't he? But once again, I reckon that throttle problem is coming to roost. So that, unfortunately, that did end in tears. It was getting very robust out there, and sadly as that now through goes Julian back in front of Sweet Crown, back at the front here. Time is running out for Flippy. Flippy is the only driver out of the top 3 to win in ALR Grand Prix racing. Then Medi has got 4 pole positions there. Village only his 3rd Grand Prix start. And Percy is dropping down the order. Sweet is through and up to 4th position. Julian is down into 5th now. An incredible Grand Prix then out to the final turn there as Medi is now on lap 24 out of 25. Then are these 2 drivers just sitting waiting? Bravitt is through, and Bravitt is through then, as also Julian is through as well. Goodness gracious me, they're swapping positions there out of the final turn. There's a bit of a yo-yo effect. This one is Bravitt is trying to just get rid of that DRS, but it's so difficult. Percy, I think, is torn. He is having issues. Then Percy is there, unfortunately. On the outside goes Percy. No, not Percy, it's the other P. It's P said, and more contact there. More contact, and that is I gotta say, it's been very robust. Then Percy out of the Grand Prix, unfortunately, after what has become a bit of a demolition derby, hasn't it, in this battle for 6th and 7th position there. Stick a straw up your ass, sure there, says Serious Bush. Oh, goodness me. As well as I have straws coming out both ways. Oh, Peace has got a 3-second penalty, and that is unfortunate then, as I think that Peace there is going to really struggle now with that damage on that car. And you can see, look at that crank in the steering wheel here. So Pease is really struggling now. And that is going to allow Sweet there. But Pease just needs to stay in DRS range, I feel. Lap 24, back at the front. There's Medi. There's Village. And what about, there's the Flippy as well. There is the World Championship leader. My goodness me. And I think that, I've got to be honest, I think the Flippy, oh, what's happened? There's problems down in the, it's Chaza. as it's Chazza and Kaz just recovering from something that's gone untoward. Chaz and Legende are both on soft tyres there, as this battle here. I'm impressed that Medi's still got the Grand Prix lead now. Has he got enough ERS deployment? Has he got enough in the tank there to keep that Grand Prix win on that 25 out of 25? This is going to be very much last corner of the last lap to decide the outcome of this Grand Prix. Sweet is really struggling there for straight line speed there, whilst Pease is still all over Brabant. I think it's a great recovery drive from Brabant. It's been a superb recovery drive for Brabant, and potentially I would even say that could be driver of the day, and fantastic stuff indeed. Nameless is now in a 10th position with Tory in 11th as both Red Bulls swap positions there. Nameless is in the points there, back in the front there. Medi leads, he's on course for maybe his first Grand Prix win of his career. Van Bonen's got the fast out of the Grand Prix. 4 retirements in this one. Markey, Cardalf, Jinnah and Percy all out of this Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. Legende's now got the fastest lap then in the final stint of this Grand Prix. The final lap of this Grand Prix. Medi, 6/10 of a second there. Village and Flippy, these top two drivers that are going for the Grand Prix win for the first time in their careers, and the first of many, I would say. Hopefully that's not the Ron Dennis curse when he said to say about Heikki Kovalainen in the Hungarian Grand Prix of 2008. Here comes Village, but I think that Medi has done enough then as he's into the final corner, but there's still another DRS shown then. Calm down then, we still got a short straight to the finish line. Has he done enough then? I think he has, and he crossed the line, and Medi wins his first race of his career. He wins the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. Absolutely superb stuff indeed there for Medi, and what a performance there from the Alpine driver. His first Grand Prix win of his career, and I've got to say it's been a long time coming for Medi, but he has now announced himself on the big stage as Medi. He is a superb Grand Prix, a superb race as well. Driver of the day goes to Brabant, then Farfaz stamped his authority. Brabant driver of the day, and I cannot disagree with that. Flippy in third with Sweet Crown in fourth, with Julian fifth, Brabant in sixth position. Great recovery from Brabant, that could be crucial. Sweet in seventh, Kieran technical issues with his throttle down 8th position. Brabant had issues in qualifying from 20th on the grid, remember. Then we have got Nameless and Pease completing the top 10 here tonight. Good race after GG all, says Serious Mushroom. There is Medi then as he waves to the crowd. Then does Medi then, of course, is our first viewer vote Grand Prix of the season. Of course, we've got 2 more tomorrow night then, and we do have a few more throughout the course of the season there. So keep your eyes peeled then. As Medi gets his camera phone out, whilst he does that, let's take a final look at the classification. Brabant driver of the day, most overtakes for Brabant as well. Of course, Legende gets his fast up, and of course, Medi gets his first Grand Prix win of his career. Medi is first Grand Prix win of his career in his 4th pole position. Vinash with his best result of his career as well, his 2nd position. Flippy getting a podium here today. I think he'll be happy with that, and extends in the Drivers' Championship, of course. That is going to be the major talking point out of this one. Sweet Crown in 4th position on his return now, with Julian in 5th position in the Mercedes. Brabant from 20th to 6th. What a great recovery drive. Brabant, of course, technical issues in qualifying very much has cost him a handful of points in this Grand Prix tonight, but still a great recovery drive. Sweet in 7th position. Kieran got a 3-second penalty in 8th position. Also a throttle issue there. A lot of technical gremlins out there tonight. Nameless in 9th position, picking up some points for Red Bull, and Pease with that 6-second penalty, dropping down into 10th. Tori in 11th. Delano in 12th. Devo Croc in 13th. Van Von in 14th. He was off the pace like Van Von was. Legende getting the fastest out for the Williams team. Chaz in 16th. 4 retirements, which was Percy, which was Jinnah, which was Cardalf, and which was Markey, all out of the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix here tonight then. An absolutely superb race indeed, and a debut winner as well. Is in the commentary box now is Medi. What a performance, Medi, and I'm sure you're going to be absolutely delighted with this result for yourself there. Your first win, I've said it's a long time coming.
Yeah, it was a curse on me for the win. Like I was trying for the win so many times, maybe like in so many races I had the pace to win, but by any chance or by like bad luck or like safety car and stuff, it was getting away from me. It was the first time I could do it without any bad luck here, so I'm so happy.
I was thinking it might have been a game of cat and mouse there, where maybe your rivals behind you was just waiting for the last couple of laps and to maybe use DRS set and to maybe catapult past you. Was you concerned about that as well, or did you feel that you kept your rivals at arm lengths today?
Actually, in the first scene, I realized the Red Bull, or I think the Red Bull or Ferrari behind me, he was so fast in first of the scenes, but in the last, he was so slow. So I realized he had a tire management issue. So I was happy to keep the leadership here, and I was so confident that he cannot pass me in the last lap. He was waiting for the last lap, but I know he doesn't have the pace in the last lap to pass me there. So I was so confident leading the pack.
That's incredible to think about that whilst driving the car around one of the most narrowest parts of one of the most narrowest circuits on the calendar. How did you know about that? Did you did you was you able to see the tires that was causing issues in the car behind you, or did you notice that in some of the corners that he was just dropping off? How did you know about his tire management? That's incredible.
Yeah, because in first of the stint he was so faster than me, but in lap 8 or 9, I think he was starting to making mistakes, and I even could pass him in the first sector, I think. So I realized in the tire management he's not that good, and also pitting lap 11, it gonna make the hard tires even frustrated at the end of the race. So I was waiting for that opportunity and my tire management for last of the race. But all
And of
the
course,
data I have it from him. It was from the first stint.
oh, no, yeah, apologies about that. I cut you off in your prime. Shocking stuff indeed. And of course, this is your first Grand Prix, and I'm going to say the first of many. I hope I'm putting the commentator's curse on you, but you've been so close over the past season a bit. Then and you finally won your Grand Prix win. I think that now you're going to really kick on and get more Grand Prix wins. Then, do you feel that there's now going to be more confidence getting your first Grand Prix win, or are you still the same driver?
I hope so. I always try to get better. I think it's a curse to always get a first win. I told you, but now it was like my first podium. I was trying so much to get the first podium, but after I get the first one, it was much easier for me to get the others. So I hope the win is gonna be the same. But also I should mention that my friend Immortal is not here. He was so fast. I hope I could race with him and challenge him for the win. And I know if he was here, he was gonna make it so much harder for me tonight.
Absolutely, I echo that as well. Of course, horrific stuff going on over in Iran at the moment. Of course, Immortal, Medi, and Mad Max are unfortunately having their internet cut off, and more importantly, that they're safe and sound. And second, most importantly, is they get their internet back because, yes, as I mentioned, it's very difficult about internet. And then thirdly, hopefully they'll come back embracing as well. Medi, one more question before you dash off, Ben. Are you in the championship picture? I love asking drivers this because I like to get very excited. Are you in the championship fight? And are you going to have you got the pace then to go head to head with the man in the party as well, Flippy?
Actually, I'm confident enough to have the pace for the championship, but I always do my best when there is no pressure on me. So I don't want to aim for the championship from now. I always try my best, but in last weeks of the calendar, if I see I'm in the championship fight, maybe I'm gonna try harder. But from these parts or these races of the calendar, if I just focus on the championship, I know my performance gonna a little bit get down because of the stress and stuff. So I just do my best every race and wait for the last weeks of the calendar.
And of course, we do move on to Miami next week as well. Of course, we had a bit of a random vote tonight where
Sean,
the
you're on
driver.
mute.
Oh, sorry, I had me thing on mute. I apologise. Goodness me, there's too many things to mute. And of course, we're going to Miami next week. Then, of course, with the driver vote going on this week, then with all about the circuits, you wasn't sure about where you're going to race at. Next week is Miami. So you got a bit more preparation time then. Is that going to help or hinder your performance next week, Mehdi?
Of course, it's gonna get better, but actually, even in this week, we did some sort of cheating because like I just brought four or five of my friends to vote here, so I know like for the most chances are for Saudi Arabia here tonight. But for next week, I'm more confident. I know the track from now on. I can practice on, and Miami is one of the tracks I'm so good at, so I'm gonna try my best.
And I don't mind that at all. More views, which means more exposure and all that kind of stuff. So bring them on, I say. Well done, Mehdi. Great first win of your career. Absolutely superb stuff. And I think the first of many. Superb driving indeed. Well done, Mehdi. And then let's come to Flippy, who's the championship leader. And goodness gracious me, then it was very much a fight throughout the course of that race there. And of course, towards the end of the race as well, you was catching on the front two of Vilash and Mehdi. Then did you feel that there might have been a wild lunge in the end there, or was you happy just to get the podium today?
I mean, I should have probably been at least challenging for the win today, like more, because I kind of bottled quali. I think my lap was like what 26.8, which was like at least 5 tenths off my usual pace in Saudi. I just couldn't get like a good lap in. I don't know why, but yeah, the race went all right. I probably should have boxed a lap earlier again, but I don't think it would have mattered that much. I was just lacking that 2 tenths, 3 tenths extra, so I could size up and move into the last corner. But yeah, it's just engine overheating at the end, and yeah, I mean podium is still good, still leading the championship, but probably had to pace for more today.
And was you tempted then to follow your rivals coming in the pits? Because they all came in the pits in front of you, and you stayed out. Was there a temptation, or was your plan was to always stick to going in a lap later?
I mean, yeah, I was always thinking of the overcut because I know like there's like I think a couple people on the hards in the mid pack, so I just kind of knew that they were going to come out in traffic. But my in lap was horrendous. I think I slid turn two exit and I slid last corner exit like twice, and that's at least a second. That means I lost the place to Delano, I think. So yeah, if my in lap was a bit better, I think maybe I would have properly caught up to the leading train like a lot sooner, and then maybe had the engine like temps low enough so I can challenge for P2 and P1 after. But yeah, it is what it is. I spent a lot of time practicing Japan and Bahrain this week just because I thought my Saudi face was alright, but then turns out not. It wasn't as good as I expected, to be fair.
And that's one of the challenges about these voting races, then, isn't it? Where you focus on the two tracks of potential not going to be voted. Then, of course, we do go to Miami next week. Then, Mehdi says he's quite confident with his performance around Miami. Do you with knowing that knowing what tracks coming up, then you're going to be now putting the laps in, I'm sure, between now and next week. Is that right?
Yeah, but Miami's I don't really like the layout, to be fair. Like it requires kind of low downforce because of the straights, and at the same time, like there's high speed corners before the first DRS straight, so it's kind of hard to drive, and of course, plus the Mickey Mouse Mickey Mouse section. Yeah, that just makes the track hard to drive and punishing for making any mistakes. Yeah, but yeah, it's simpler in terms of approach because I just practice for one track and one track specifically. But the layout is not great for Miami, so I wouldn't expect much from myself for next week, to be fair.
I always expect a lot from all of you guys, to be honest. It's absolutely superb stuff. And of course, you're leading the championship there. Brabham had issues in qualifying. I'm not sure if you was aware of the issues going on where you qualified last. Do you keep an eye on your championship rivals then, or is it far too early to be singling out one driver that could be a potential problem for you in your championship quest?
Yeah, I saw Rabbit crashing out in, I think, I don't know what corner number that is, but yeah, I was just surprised, not only because he's my championship rival, but we're friends as well. So I just kind of was sad for him in a way. But I think his race pace was actually like fast as, yeah, really fast as well. I think he finished P6 in Saudi. That's really impressive, getting past all the slower guys in the mid and backfield. So yeah, it would have been probably more fun with him at the front today, but I don't know. I don't even know what happened with him. Maybe like some kind of real technical issues, or yeah, it's just I think he was on his. Was he on it? Was he on his outlap? I'm pretty sure he is. Yeah, that's just yeah, it's a shame, but yeah, he's fast, and I know he's gonna get like gain more points on me as the season goes on. So like it should still be a really fun fight at the front with Mehdi, Rabbit, and when Immortal comes back, hopefully.
You guys are far too nice. I love it when if my rival's out of the race. But then again, I don't really have a rival. The only rival I have is the Wolves. Thank you very much, Flippy. Thank you very much, Medi, as well. A great first win for Medi. Village on the podium as well. Superb stuff indeed from the Ferrari driver. Sadly, we can't get Village in because they're cross-play at the moment. We've got to figure out how to do that. So I think we've got to get far from the case because he's a technical wizard. Right, tomorrow night it is going to be the silver race then, where it's going to be Bahrain, Japan, or Saudi Arabia then, and it's going to be a vote again to determine which race the drivers are going to be racing on. I can't wait for that one. Of course, that is tomorrow night as well. Of course, we could have Saudi Arabia again, we could have Bahrain again, or we could have Japan then. So that is going to be exciting stuff. In terms of the championship then, Riley leads the way, 10 points in front of Jinner with Kiki in third position, and it's a very tight championship so far. And Haas, of course, have taken the advantage in the Constructors' Championship, but it's far, far too early to think about anything more than just getting points on the board. Easy for me to say, isn't it? Because I'm always excited.